welcome to our podcast, Broker Banter Denver, where we are breaking down barriers to home ownership. I'm your host, Kim Davis, the real estate expert.
And I'm Patrick Williams, the mortgage guy. We're here to inform and educate you about the home buying and finance process.
And on today's podcast, we're going to talk about the housing market and how Denver is rated the hottest market in the country.
Yeah, and I've got some information about a special community lending program that can help you get a reduced interest rate. So I think it's going to be a good episode today.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's going well. How about you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
Anything new in the past week?
Not really.
No?
Just kind of chugging along. I mean, honestly, I've been really busy, Kim. I know we've been telling everybody, like, don't wait, right?
Right.
But things have picked up.
Yeah, I think that it seems like in Denver, anyways, in my 20-some years, that it seems to pick up. February, just like you feel the market just starting to,
Yeah, well, and I mean, last night I kind of looked to the west around 6 o'clock, and there was still some daylight there. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah.
Are you talking about busy because you're about to go into mountain biking season, or busy because you're busy professionally?
You know what? Professionally, I did ride the Peloton yesterday.
So I know how much you hate that.
I do not like riding a bike inside. I really prefer to be outside, but we've had so much snow that there's really nothing to ride outside.
I mean, on Saturday, I did the second 2-hour ride on the Peloton, which it is hard. And it's harder, I think, to ride an indoor bike than to be outside because you pedal the full 2 hours. You don't get a downhill to
That's true. You don't, you're always pedaling.
Rest.
But and also you don't go anywhere. So, the scenery doesn't change. At least when you're outside, you're like, oh, a cow or, something.
A cow? Well, are you riding your bike to Kansas?
Well, it depends on where. Yeah, sometimes, like there's, I do have a gravel bike. So there's some big gravel
My husband wants a gravel bike.
He should get one.
Begging me for one.
I approve.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
We know that if you guys need any biking information, you can always count on Patrick to give it to you. So if you're not looking for housing need, hey, maybe send him an email about which mountain bike or gravel bike you should get, because he has a lot of opinions.
Hey, just so you know, the bike that I currently ride, my mountain bike, there is a new version that has come out within about the last week, and I don't have it yet. So I just
now you sound entitled. You're stuck with that bike for at least a good 5 years.
5 years, probably this season for sure. Maybe we'll see if I can make it.
You do ride with a couple of mountain biking groups where. Do they have newer bikes all the time, or?
Well, some of the guys that I ride with, and I'm really not that good of a mountain biker. Compared
not
to
up hills, from what I hear.
Oh, last year I was in pretty good shape.
If you guys really want a story, my husband Jay and Patrick on my first mountain bike ride took me up a wonderful mountain where they made me cry.
First of all,
it's true.
Mountain biking is hard. Yeah. And so, if you're not ready, but it is, especially I think there's one thing about like clipping in, if you're wearing clipless pedals.
I can clip in and clip out. That is not a problem.
On a road bike, it's a big different story. I mean, the two stories that I have about when I first put clipless pedals on, one was I fell off the edge of a mountain over at Three Sisters in Evergreen. And then the second time, I think I fell into a cactus down in Canyon City.
Right.
So
I remember, I think you or your wife told me the story about
it's a different story on the trails, because like on a road bike, you always, I always would clip out on the right side and put my foot down, and it was no big deal. But then all of a sudden, you have to do it fast, and I was trying to get out on the right side, but really I needed to put my foot down on the left side.
It was a little steep for your first mountain bike that they took me
range. There's not a lot, and let's be honest, we were riding some trails over, on the west side of town, and those are all, pretty steep trails.
And there was some drop-offs that you could fall off the mountain, and I had to walk my bike down. That's not where you take a girl on her first mountain bike ride.
No, just keep your eyes on the trail. You'll be fine.
See?
Just don't fall off.
See, that's Patrick and my husband Jay. That's what I deal with. And guess how many times I've gone mountain biking with them since?
I don't think you've been back.
I don't think so. I go with the girls. I don't like to go with the guys. Yeah. It's scary.
There are some less intense trails that you can go on maybe. And I had nothing to do with that planning that trip. I would say I would put that on your husband.
Would not agree.
It was me.
He said that he
that's funny.
asked you, and you were like, "Oh," and thank goodness.
Well, maybe I expected more of you, Kim.
I think that is exactly what happened. You guys knew I was a decent road biker,
Right.
and so you thought that would go over into mountain biking skills, which it does not.
The pedaling portion, right? Like you're in a good pedaling shape, but there's a lot more to mountain biking for sure than road biking.
I think mountain biking is, you can't ever relax in mountain biking. Going up or going down, you're always having to, well, one, watch out for rattlesnakes, which is
I would rather watch out for rocks and rattlesnakes than cars.
Yeah,
Like that's
true.
and nobody pays attention
I mean,
anymore. Everybody's on their phone.
a rattlesnake and a car, they can both kill you, but differently.
Yeah.
On a positive note.
Actually, you can get bit by a rattlesnake, but typically if you go out in the middle of the day, they're hiding. Like they're in the bushes and not on the trails. You run into them every once in a while, but
Every year you hear about someone getting bit by a rattlesnake.
yeah. But how many people are out on the trails?
A lot.
Right. So one person out of 25,000, easy, right?
So if you feel like hiking or biking, you have a 1 in 25,000. Oh, that's a made up statistic, I bet.
Yeah, it's like 97.5%. It's in that 97.5%.
Of the made up statistic.
That's right.
But I wonder what that stat is.
I don't know. My niece was bit by a rattlesnake.
I did know that, yeah.
She was very little, and they were out in Roxborough. The funny thing was, though, is she kept telling her dad is actually an outdoor, like he is a
Leader, right?
a
He
leader
does.
of outdoor trips. He actually works for School of Mines, and so he's very knowledgeable in outdoors, safety and everything. And the problem is when the snake bit her, it only had one puncture wound.
Oh.
So he was like, no, I'm sure, and she was the last one in the group that they were all hiking with, and ended up being a snake bite, and they ended up having to go to the hospital for a couple days and get her the anti-venom. But she was fine.
She recovered fully.
She did, yeah. Full recovery.
Good.
The medical system's wonderful.
Yeah.
Anybody who works in medicine is a hero in my
Yes,
opinion.
just like your wife, who's a nurse. My dog got bit by a rattlesnake.
That's right. And,
And,
that did not turn
Well,
out.
it did. He survived. It back in those days. It cost a little bit to get the anti-venom for dogs.
It's
and
very
then
expensive.
Yes, very expensive. And then he passed few years later.
Okay.
They think that maybe the
That
snake
played a
part in it, but it's not a direct.
So one of my
correlation.
neighbors. So we live on some open space,
Right.
And there tends to be some rattlesnakes out there. About once a year, we get a rattlesnake in the backyard, or my neighbor does.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the neighbors, he's a little crazy, honestly. So he wants the live snake, and he'll milk them, and he sells the venom for the antivenoms.
Really?
Yeah, you can actually get quite a bit of money for that.
This conversation really.
We take all kinds of bunny trails, but yeah, that's a true story, though. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't like snakes.
I don't either. Well, in our old neighborhood where we lived by Chatfield Reservoir for
Yeah.
a long time.
You guys had
for
a
about
lot of
17 years.
rattlesnakes.
We had a lot of rattlesnakes, especially if you were around. You saw that they were making Chatfield bigger. And so when they moved all that dirt, all the rattlesnakes came west. We lived just west of Chatfield Reservoir, and we had tons of snakes
During
that
that
year.
expansion.
During that
When they were-
expansion.
yeah, that makes
How
sense.
long ago was that expansion? Probably
Well, you know
5
what?
years?
They did a
10
lot of the
years?
prep work a while ago, but I want to say
Right.
it was just last year with all that
That
rain
it
that it
finally
finally
expanded?
filled up to
Yeah.
capacity for the first time.
Well, and I think so. My husband has killed a few rattlesnakes in
Yeah,
our neighborhood.
so have I.
Obviously, if they are not going to hurt the kids or
Yeah.
whatever, he'll let them go.
If they
but-
get in the backyard, you don't have much of a choice. Bull snakes, on the other hand, you want to
We
keep
love,
those around
yeah.
because they actually will kill the rattlesnakes
I know.
and eat mice and bunnies
love
and
it.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Who knew that we had so much information
Well,
on
you know what?
rattlesnakes?
Part of Colorado, living in
It
Colorado.
is, it is.
As you walk into the open space behind my house, there's signs. This is a rattlesnake area.
Yeah.
So it's something that you should be aware of, especially if you're enjoying the outdoors.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you know what I always do when I start hiking? So I'll hike in the fall and I'll hike in the spring before
Not-
the first
not during the-
rattlesnake.
not during the summer?
Not during the summer because, with people, not alone.
Yeah.
And I go up in elevation. So usually if you live like in Conifer and higher, you can go to the rattlesnakes aren't as prevalent up there.
Yeah.
And what's that state park that's up in Conifer? Stafford?
Staunton.
Staunton. Staunton.
Good place to
Park.
mountain bike.
Great place to mountain bike. Great hiking.
Yeah,
There's
good colors in the fall.
Yes. There's a great 10-mile hike up there that...
Up to the waterfall.
To the waterfall,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that they have a new trailhead now
They
that
do.
it's only like 8 miles.
It's a
or
little
something.
higher, but it's still a trek out there.
Yeah.
That's actually the newest state park in Colorado.
I did not know
Yeah.
that. That's a great park if you haven't been to it.
So I didn't realize. Look, maybe we just go outdoors on this podcast. We forget about the Denver housing market and we just talk about mountain biking and hiking and stuff.
We could talk about
But what
that for
about
a while.
skiing?
Well, we could talk about that next week as I believe your birthday is next week.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, my birthday is coming up, and we're gonna head up to the hills and get a couple days
And
in
go skiing.
at the ski resort.
So if you want to tune in next week and hear about what is happening in the ski resort.
yeah, we'll see if I can land my 180. Right, that's kind of the goal. I don't know if I'm gonna try it this weekend or not, but I might start working on it.
And so I think there's a few people going up there to celebrate
it's gonna be
your
a really
birthday.
good time.
So
I'm
that's
excited.
great.
Just to get away. So.
We'll talk about how old he is next week and if there was any shenanigans that we should or should not talk about on the podcast.
There's probably going to be some shenanigans. I'm just not sure if we should talk about them or
Probably not.
I guess we'll see. Well, Kim, how's the market?
Well, the market is, it's picking up, that's
Yeah.
for sure. And then there is a new article that had just come out this week. So this is, middle of February 2024, in case you're listening to this, later on. But
So this is based on 2023, correct?
this is based on 2023, but U.S. News and World Report came out with a article that says that the hottest housing market in the country is Denver.
To be honest with you, I was really surprised by
I was
that.
too.
Because I think usually the hottest markets tend to be more on the affordable side.
Right. That's what I would think too.
Yeah.
The top 5 were Denver was number 1, Raleigh, North Carolina was 2, Virginia.
Or Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Depends on
Well, I would say Raleigh. You think
it's
Raleigh?
It's Raleigh.
Oh, for a
Yeah.
fact. Sure. Tomato,
Yeah.
tomato.
I don't know. Like you talk to somebody about Louisville, Kentucky, and if it is Louisville, do
How
not
about-
say I know there's Louisville, Colorado, but there is not Louisville, Kentucky.
That's true. How about we have our listeners,
Ooh, weigh in?
if
Okay.
it's Raleigh,
Raleigh.
or Raleigh.
It's Raleigh, North Carolina.
Well, my friends make fun of me too because I say gondola and not gondola.
Yeah, because it is a gondola.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
gondola. So
Okay.
maybe this is my Midwestern Kansas roots coming out here. But okay,
So,
Raleigh,
Raleigh was number
North
2.
Carolina was 2. Virginia Beach, Virginia was 3.
Okay.
Durham, North Carolina was 4. And Charlotte, North Carolina was 5. So 3 in North Carolina.
Yeah, the Carolinas, I think, are on that more affordable side of things, and it's beautiful out there.
Oh, beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Actually,
I've heard Charlotte is a great place.
I think we have some friends that might be moving out there to North Carolina.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they're moving out to North or South Carolina.
I don't know if they've decided. I think they're trying to figure out where they want to
okay.
be out there. But
I know one of the Carolinas.
and we took a trip out to Hilton Head, which was a beautiful place to be. We flew into Georgia, though, right? Where did we go?
It was for my
Savannah.
husband's 50th, and we
flew into Savannah,
Savannah.
which is a cool town too. So
Yeah.
so top 5. But we also there was 3 other metros that made the top 20, correct?
Yep, there's 3 other Colorado cities that made the top 20.
Yeah,
and
in
so,
Colorado.
Yep, Fort Collins, Colorado, which was number 12. And then there was also Greeley, Colorado, which was number 15. And then coming in at 19 was Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs,
Yeah.
which is, we talked about Greeley, right? And I think a couple episodes ago, and
We
how that is one of those affordable areas and how it's on the kind of the up and coming.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. UNC, you guys are killing it over there.
UNC is a good school.
Yeah,
I've
University of
got some friends that
Northern
have been up to
Colorado.
Yeah, Northern Colorado.
But so this report based it off of the MSA, which stands for what does it stand for?
I think Metro Statistical. I don't know. You're the expert on the real estate, Kim.
Well, I'm reading an article, and it's it said it is the U.S. News Housing and Market Index, which is the demand, supply, and the financial aspect of the U.S. housing market. And so they do it based on rate. They have it on a rating system on those three criteria.
Okay.
And so Denver rated at 74.8. And so
that's the highest rating of any of those cities.
Yeah.
Which, again, going back to affordability, I think that is a big factor. Typically, the more affordable cities are higher in demand because people can move from more expensive places and get more bang for their buck out there. And then also first-time homebuyers, right? They're able to get into that market a little easier. But Denver's kind of defying that.
Yeah, I still can't believe we were number one.
So I do think one thing that I've seen about Denver is our low unemployment rate here, and I think that might play a big factor into that. I think as of the end of December, of 2023, we're at like 3.5% or below 3.5%. So anytime you have lots of jobs and job creation, that's always going to create a good housing market.
And I think in this article they explained that. They said that the Denver unemployment rate remained low at 3.3%.
3.3. Okay, so I was close. And then
that's a report from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics to show that we are not making up statistics.
Oh, okay. That's right. And I'm sure we'll be able to put those on the screen for you to see too. But you know what I think too is Denver, right? We kind of were just talking about all the things we enjoy doing, right?
Well, and exactly, which makes it one of the housing criteria was demand, and right, and so that makes us high demand. That Denver is a great city to live in with all the outdoor. I mean, we're talking about mountain biking in February because it is getting close to that time.
It is, and it's been what the bad part has been. It's been like 50 degrees during the week and beautiful, but then every dang Saturday it snows, and we have all this snow everywhere, so you can't go mountain biking because the trails are muddy and wet with snow. Not that I'm bitter or anything, but thankfully we can ski. But no, there's a lot to love about the Front Range, right? I think we talk about the Front Range of Denver. Or of Colorado. Denver, is number one. But then when you start thinking about Colorado Springs and Fort Collins, it has almost turned into one metro area from north to south.
It's getting close because like Castle Rock, and then it just kind of starts to blend. There's still a little bit of land in between Monument and Air Force Base, basically, as you're heading down I-25. But as you head up north, because my husband went to Fort Collins, Colorado State.
My daughter's there today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's doing a tour.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully she goes. Jay would love that.
We need another CSU alum, huh?
Yeah, another CSU alum on our side because all of our friends' kids keep going to CU Boulder and out of state.
You know what? If my daughter stayed in state, I would be so happy. My guess is she ends up out on the East Coast for school. But
that's true.
But it's like through school. They do a bunch of different tours her junior year. So I forgot that she was up there today. So
good thing you're keeping track of your daughter. Jeez,
she's old enough to take care of herself.
Is it because she's the second?
Yeah, don't you think? You kind of just, the second kind of does their own thing, right? Like, you're like, oh, they're fine. The first, you're like, where are you? You're tracking their whereabouts on the phone.
Oh, the pacifier fell. Oh my gosh, let's desanitize that before we put it back in the baby's mouth. And now the second one, you're like, you stick it in your mouth.
She got a phone earlier than her older brother. She got Snapchat earlier than her older brother. She's been able to kind of fly in under the radar.
Just imagine if you had three. Think about the third one. Like, the third one, can do whatever they want, get a phone in elementary school,
Yeah, watch as much screen time because you're like, I'm tired.
But so getting back on track,
yes.
The northern I-25 corridor,
Fort Collins.
Does seem up to Fort Collins. It does seem like it's town after town. There's a little bit of land, but not much. I think you go all the way up to 170 so.
Well,
and then there's
166th, I think. Yeah. Highway 7, which is I grew up north. I remember when 104th was the edge of town.
Me too.
Yeah,
I remember that also.
The North Glen Mall was right there.
Yes.
But now it's. There is a little bit of a break, but there's a lot of dealerships like the in Frederick and Firestone and that area, and then all the way up through Longmont into Fort Collins.
I would say that north seems to be more of a, not a break as the south.
No, because there's between Monument and Colorado Springs, there's still some open space down there, but it's really It's pretty packed all the way through. So when we look at this, one of the things that I was looking at is the supply. Because I was reading something this morning, I think it was Redfin, was talking about the average time that people are living in their homes. And this number was higher before 2020 because so many people moved.
We should talk about why you're looking on Redfin when, we're RE/MAX
I was
agent.
not looking at Redfin. An article popped up about how, and it was written by somebody at Redfin.
Okay.
So it was, but they said the average time that the person is in their home is 11 and a half years now.
Yes, because I think I had just said that it used to be 5 years, and I knew that was an
Correct.
old statistic.
Yeah.
And that people are living in their houses longer.
So there's a lot of factors in that,
Yeah.
I think interest rates are one. And I think the boomers, right, the older generation, we're staying healthier for longer. And so you're able to live on your own for a lot longer. There's technology. You can get things to kind of help you in those later years to where you maybe don't have to downsize and move out or, go into assisted living or have family come and live with you. But
well, in this article, they do talk about, how much supply there is. And like you said, these are statistics they pulled from 2023. So
Yeah.
as of December of 2023. But that there was a 1.9 month supply in Denver in December. And so the national supply is 2.6 months. So once again, that's just another statistics to say, hey, Denver is a market that is very sought after and that if you have a chance, which I still think buyers have a chance right now to get into houses without multiple offers because there is enough inventory and there seems to be a buyer low right now or lull where they're just
well, and we are still
holding
kinda,
off.
Yep.
They're still waiting for interest rates.
Yep.
And hopefully interest rates will
But we're already
come
seeing
down.
that market, though, right?
Right.
We're
It's
already
definitely-
seeing the beginning of that happen. I mean, we have people who were going to go look this afternoon, and that property's already under contract.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. I have 2 clients that right after this podcast I'm going to go show. And one of those clients, the house that we were going to look at, just
Went under.
in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
So we are definitely starting to see that.
And especially in that price range that is a little more appealing to the first-time home buyers, right? Like
Correct.
being able to get into the market in that lower range, probably under 6, I would
6.
say.
Yeah. That's a harder market to
yeah.
definitely get in, especially if you can find a single family home in the
Yeah.
Denver metro area for under 6, which is
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, but there are pockets of places,
Right.
and if you have a really experienced agent who knows the area well, they can find those pockets for you.
Yes. I think that's me. Are you talking about
I
me?
was like pointing and looking at you as I said it. So.
Well, if they're listening, they can't see you point.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Or a bad point.
Literally.
That's a bad point. So yeah, I do. We do have this on YouTube, so the cameras are there as well. But I do I listen to most of my podcasts on Spotify and iTunes. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So then you're gonna.
so the
you're
point
pointing
doesn't
at
help.
Kim.
So if you're
that-
looking for one of those amazing neighborhoods that you can get in kind of early, it's up and coming, and the price is right. You want to talk to Kim Davis at RE/MAX. What's your phone number, Kim?
Well, we'll give it to you, but it's 303-882-0888. I
Make
like
sure to get
eights.
pre-qualified before you go look, though.
That's right. And
Yeah.
then you would call Patrick for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Patrick, what's your phone
Oh,
number?
720-988-7664. Thanks for asking.
Hopefully we haven't lost all of our viewership just
Well,
now.
it's definitely been a busy week, and I think that might have to do with a little bit of why we're a little all over the map today. It's been exciting. We've got a lot of people moving
Right.
forward and getting pre-qualified and getting ready to jump into the market. So it's a good busy.
Yes, it's
no
a good
complaining
busy.
here.
Well, let's just tell people that, hey, if you want to look at this article, it's very interesting, just
Mm-hmm.
talking about the Denver market. You should go to, U.S. News and World Report and check it out. It was published February 12th.
Yeah.
So as of today is Valentine's Day, but this podcast won't come out for another week. So just, I'm sure if you can Google it and find it.
Yeah, it'll be available.
Right.
I was so surprised. I was like, wow, I can't believe this. I just didn't expect it at all.
Yeah, and it's great. I remember when I moved to Denver in 1990 from Kansas, everyone
Yeah.
was like, oh, don't move to Denver. It's,
Yeah.
there's crime and there's everything. And now it's the hottest market in the country.
It's a great place to live.
It is. It
there's
is a really
there's so
great
much to do here, and there are places that you can find and
Absolutely.
get into. I think some people are like, oh, Denver's just out of my price range.
Right.
I can't afford Denver. But there are ways to get into the market.
Absolutely.
So we've got a product that we've come out with this year, and it's a community lending program. And so there's specific areas that they have identified that have a higher renter concentration. So kind of those more up and coming neighborhoods, right? And so if you find a home in that specific census tract, I'm able to get you a discounted interest rate to get in there.
Wow.
Yeah. And so what we're seeing is about 0.5% better than market rates on that program. So you get that coupled with the lower home prices in that area, and it's a way because when you get more homeowners into a neighborhood, what happens to that neighborhood?
Usually it goes up. The price
goes
of
up.
homes go up.
Yeah,
and
people have pride of ownership,
Right.
right? You talk about pride, like
Absolutely.
they take maybe a better care of a home than
Absolutely.
if they rented, and so it's a way to reinvigorate these neighborhoods.
So it's a couple of areas within the Denver metro area that this.
Yeah, there are a couple, kind of the Inglewood, 285 Hamden, and like Broadway area. There's a great neighborhood in there that I've identified, Harvey Park.
Oh, love Harvey Park.
Yeah, it's a really great older neighborhood.
Yes.
Has a lot of great amenities, centrally located. You're really close to Hamden and US 85. Santa Fe goes right
Yep,
downtown.
right off of Sheridan.
So it's a really good spot.
So you know what? I think that you have a map. Is that correct? That we can.
I do. Yeah. So there's a map. We'll put that up on the screen. And if you're interested in finding out more about these areas, we can send that out to you. If you want to contact me, I'd be glad to share that with you. And Kim can help you identify properties in that area.
But at least with the map, then you can see, hey, is this an area
Yeah.
that I want to live in? And then,
Yeah.
decide if. I mean, anyone who is thinking about already living in those areas should definitely contact you
Absolutely.
to, get the better interest rate.
Yeah,
So,
take advantage of that.
right.
So
and what
I
is
do
this
know,
lending? What is it called?
It's our community lending program.
Oh, community lending
community lending. And so there's like that Harvey Park area
Right.
in that kind of Inglewood, Broadway, 285.
Mm-hmm.
There's some areas just outside of like Cherry Creek Reservoir
Oh.
and Parker Road, which is a really nice area.
Is that Cherry Creek School District?
It-
I don't know. I would
It
look.
could be.
It could.
It could be because it is still pretty far south,
Okay.
south of 225. And then there's some areas out as you go out 470 towards Aurora. There's some up north near Commerce City, like the Reunion area is really nice.
Oh, I love Reunion.
Yeah, and then kind of the area when I was growing up was not really considered part of the Denver metro, but the Brighton, Fort Lupton area, there's
Which
some
is
identified.
considered
It is now, yeah.
Denver metro.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's some areas out there as well. So there is definitely some, if you have an interest in that, we can take a look and identify properties and kind of begin your search that way. Like we're going to focus on these areas
Right.
because, 0.5%, that makes a pretty big
Yes, in
difference in
payment.
your payment. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that to our viewership's attention that, there are other programs out there that you can, get a
Yeah.
better interest rate, especially when interest rates are such a big deal. I mean, these were not conversations that we were having a
No.
year ago. No one really talked about interest rates as much as we do now with interest rates just being higher. And so 0.5% is a very big deal. That can affect payment by hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds, yeah, and it
Per
can
month.
it can affect whether you qualify or not. To be honest,
Absolutely.
right? So
That
maybe
is-
you've been told no by somebody else, like we can't get you in at this price point. You maybe checked with somebody and tried to get
Right.
pre-qualified. If we can find something in this area, maybe that would make the difference in being able to get you
Right.
in.
Or it could be the difference of maybe you do qualify, but hey, you only qualified for this amount, and now that the interest rates are lower, you qualify for $100,000 more or $50,000 more, whatever that difference is,
Yeah.
just because it's based on payment.
Yeah, every
So-
scenario is a little bit different. I would want to take a look at that specific scenario, but we could definitely, a 0.5 point is a lot, and it could, in certain situations, be up to $100,000 in the amount that you're able to
Right,
qualify for.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Thanks, Patrick, for that information on the community lending program. I think that's a great program for
Absolutely.
some people who are really worried about interest rates with that 0.5% down. We appreciate you guys tuning in this week to our podcast.
Yeah, and if you have found any value in our podcast, please make sure to share us. Give us a like. Give us a rating. We're available on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes.
Thanks.
See you next time.